Hello, my friends. Good Erev Shabbos, followed by a wonderful, beautiful, restful, uplifting, and above all, inspirational Shabbos Kodesh. This week's Torah reading, Parshas Behaaloschah, which means when you light the menorah, talking about the final instructions about the building and the service in the Mishkan, because we're about to travel. Next week, they're going to travel with the Mishkan, begin their journeys in the desert. But they have been camped at Mount Sinai. At this point, that we're talking about for a full year. It is the day before the 14th of Nisan. In other words, it is the 13th of Nisan. And the instructions are given. We're going to make Pesach here in the desert. And we're going to have the Karban Pesach, the Passover offering that every Jewish family gives. But one group of people come running to Moshe and Aaron, and they complain. We have a problem. We have been involved with taking care of someone who has passed away. And we are now tamei lameis, which means we are impure because of our contact with the dead body. And we need to go through a purification process, which takes 7 full days. And we don't have the time. And they complained. They said, Lama Nigara. Why should we be left out from this precious, precious mitzvah of showing our solidarity with the Jewish people, showing our belief in being servants of God, celebrating the fact that we are no longer servants of Pharaoh. We want to be part of that. Why should we be left out? But there's nothing we can do. It's too late. Moshe, teach us what to do. Moshe did not know. He had never learned it. And he had to do something that no one else before him has ever been able to do. And we are told that no one else after him will ever be able to do. He just asked God on the spot and received his answer. Now, whole separate idea, whole separate discussion about the greatness of Moshe that he had that kind of connection. But that's not what we're dealing with. We're dealing with another problem. They had been camped at Sinai for a year. The Torah was given 11 months before. We're taught. The entire Torah was told over to the Jewish people and taught to Moshe, who then taught the details to the Jewish people. Why didn't Moshe know the answer? Why did he say, I have no idea, I was never taught that? Not only that, this same issue comes up again in a few weeks from now in Parshas Pinchas. The daughters of a man named Tzlafchad, who died and didn't leave any sons. And they were apportioning the land that when we come into Israel, these portions will belong to these families. But they didn't receive a portion because, according to what they understood, the portions were given out only to male descendants. And these 3 women came to Moshe and they said, we want our portion in Israel. We want our part of the Holy Land. Why should we be left out? The same complaint that these men who were not able to bring the Passover offering, the same complaint that they made. And both those times, Moshe did not know the answer and had to ask God on the spot and was taught something that was not taught previously. If you think about it, that's very strange. It's awesome. Amazing. We're told the entire Torah was given already. But yet, Moshe didn't know the answer to these men who were impure. Moshe didn't know the answer to the women who wanted their portion in Israel, even though they didn't have brothers and their father had passed away. Did he forget? No. We're taught that those laws were not yet given. But wasn't the entire Torah given already? Why weren't those laws given yet? Because God was waiting for an opportunity. God was waiting for an opportunity for someone to take. He wanted, before teaching these laws, he wanted to hear someone say, I want this. I need this. I want to be part of this. Lama nigara. Why? How can I be left out? Those men who were impure from dealing with the dead, they could have shrugged their shoulders and said, oh well, we did a mitzvah because we were taking care of somebody who passed away, but because of that we can't bring this Passover sacrifice. Not our fault. Oh well, get on with life. The daughters of Slavchad could have said, we'll just marry someone. We won't have our father's portions. Oh well. So our father's name will be lost from having a part of the land of Israel. Not our fault. Oh well. But they didn't do that. Those men, they complained. They wanted it. They fought for it. And therefore, on the spot, God taught Moshe something that had not yet been incorporated into the Torah. And the reason it wasn't incorporated is because he didn't want it to come from him. He wanted it to come from us. He wanted to see his people want it. And the same thing with the daughters of Slavchad. He had plans, so to speak, on putting that into the Torah, but he first wanted to see them want it, ask for it, fight for it. And that's what it's all about. That's all what it's all about. There's a story that somebody came to the great yeshiva of Novardik and went to the dean of the yeshiva. He said, I want to marry, I'm a very wealthy man, and I want the best of your yeshiva. Give me the best boy, and I want him for my daughter. And the dean, the Rosh Yeshiva, said, how am I supposed to show you? They're all the best. He said, no, just tell me who's the best. He said, okay. He points to one, he says, he has the greatest memory. Points to another one, he spends the longest time trying to remember things and working on things and delving into the depths of the Talmud. But then he thought for a minute after he went through all the different boys, everybody, why they're the best in with their talents. But he pointed to one and he said, that one, I have to admit, he's the best. Why? Does he have the best memory? No. Is he the best at depth? No. Is he the most logical? No. Why? What makes him better than everybody else? And Rosh Yeshiva said, he is the greatest mivakesh, which means he wants it the most. That makes him the best. That man later became Rabbi Yisroel Bodkins, known as the Stipler Rav, who was one of the greatest Talmud authorities of our time. But that's what we're all about. That's what we're all about. We're all about trying. We're all about wanting it. A very good friend of mine who gets upset whenever I mention his name, seemingly, at least on the surface, is a simple guy. He's an accountant, goes to a class I give. He said, after one of my classes, and I've said this many times before, we're in charge of the verbs. God's in charge of the nouns. In other words, our job is to try. Our job is to want. Our job is to put our best foot forward and do whatever we can to achieve our goal in becoming God's servants and doing the best in serving our Creator. Will we be successful at what we're trying to do? That's not our job. That's a noun. Success is a noun. Our job is the action, is the effort. Just like coming into Shabbos. Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't really care so much what your house looks like when you get to Shabbos. He cares more how much effort you put into making sure everything looks nice. It's all about the effort. It's all about the drive. And it's all about the will. Shabbos.